This is the jagged edge of the Soviet Union. The Kuril Islands, a chain stretching from just east of Alaska's Aleutian Islands to the northern shores of Japan. Though beautiful, the islands are not a place that welcomes humans. Indeed, only a few thousand people live on the Kurils, the farthest outpost in the Soviet Far East. To politicians in the Soviet Union and Japan, these islands represent a bitter territorial dispute that has kept the two countries technically at war since 1945. But for the people of Kunashir Island, population 8,000, the rhythm of daily life is made up of more intimate concerns, like the grand opening of their first museum. Here, in the basement of a peeling apartment building, people crowd around remnants of Kunashir's past. It's a past as connected to Japan 10 miles away as to Moscow, more than 4,000. On a chilly morning in early June, fishermen prepare their boats for the season ahead. More than half of the families on Kunashir make their living from the sea. Gennady Dyashkin came here 12 years ago on a 2-year contract to work on a fishing boat. Despite the sometimes 14-hour days and bitter cold winters, he has no plans to leave soon. By Soviet standards, Gennady, his wife Zaida, and their 6-year-old daughter live in style. A spacious flat and fresh fish or meat every night for dinner. Coming by meat and fish isn't difficult at Kunashir's one grocery store. While Spartan by Western standards, the store stocks dried milk and rice, luxuries rarely seen on Moscow shelves. All this without the 2-hour lines.
Говорит Южнокурильск. Добрый день, уважаемые друзья.
Zaida works as a radio journalist on the island's 15-minute-a-day broadcast. The technology may be from the 1950s, but she's well paid for her efforts. Kunashir residents receive hardship pay, and Zaida earns almost 3 times what she'd be making on the mainland. If it weren't for her family, Zaida says she would leave for the excitement of the mainland, though Kunashir does have its diversions, like a free disco every weekend. But generally, people here say they live primitively. There are no paved roads. There are only 2 full-time restaurants. On the entire island, Kunashir boasts 1 elementary school and 1 junior high. If they want a college degree, young people move to the mainland. Many are torn whether they'll return to a life of fishing or leave the island for good. From Kunashir, you can see the mountains of Hokkaido, Japan, only 10 miles away. The Kurils have changed hands several times, beginning with the Navigation and Commerce Treaty in the mid-19th century. Kunashir and several other islands have been in the eye of a political storm between Japan and the Soviet Union for more than 100 years. At the end of World War II, the Soviets occupied the islands and evacuated the Japanese living here. Japan wants the islands back and refuses to sign a peace treaty with the Soviet Union until the issue is settled. Today, an estimated 8,000 troops train on Kunashir and its neighboring island. The Soviets say the islands occupy a strategic location for the Soviet fleet. For some, the remote beauty of Kunashir is also a net, keeping islanders like Zaida from the excitement and the complications of the mainland. The future of Kunashir will likely be mapped out by politicians in Moscow and Tokyo. But for the people who make their homes here, those issues dwarf next to the chill of the wind or the catch of the day. For World Monitor, I'm Barbara Bradley on Kunashir Island.